So we have finally been given a decent amount of information about this upcoming Halo Infinite flight, technical preview, beta, whatever you want to call it. A couple days ago, 343 put out a new Inside Infinite update on Halo Waypoint, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at in this video. But real quick, I want to mention, as usual when it comes to Halo-related news, a lot of the time I'm late to the party with getting a video out about it, and that is no different here. I'm sure many of you have already read through the blog yourself or watched a video, saw some things on Twitter, and I think many of you already know what's going on with this first upcoming Halo Infinite flight. So with that being said, I'm not going to be covering every little detail that was mentioned in this Inside Infinite update. I'm just going to be covering parts of the blog that I felt were some of the more important pieces of information. And before we get into this, I do want to say that this last week I was on vacation. I am back now, so I kind of missed a couple days of my Road to Infinite series, which was an upload every day, but I have missed days in the past, and I always make up for it. So I haven't uploaded a video since, I believe, Tuesday. I haven't uploaded one for Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, and it's Saturday when I'm recording this. So I am going to make up for those days. There will be like an extra video these next couple days, or I'll just upload them all today. I don't know what's going to happen, but I will make up for those days. So I guess that could be looked at as kind of like cheating on this whole daily uploads thing, because I didn't upload on those days, and I can understand how you could look at it like that, but regardless, I am going to be uploading a couple extra videos to make up for those days. And that was always my intention when I announced that I was going to do daily uploads until the release of Halo Infinite. I knew that if I missed a day, I would always make up for it. In the next day or the day after that, I would upload an extra video to make up for that day I missed. I didn't mention that back when I announced this, but those were always my intentions. So anyways, let's get into this. I think the two biggest pieces of information that came out of this Inside Infinite blog were that the first Halo Infinite technical preview, as they're calling it, could begin as early as this upcoming weekend. And the second thing is, one of the main focuses for this first technical preview for Halo Infinite is going to be arena gameplay versus bots. So no traditional player versus player for this first technical preview. And I'm definitely going to be sharing my opinions on that later on in this video. So they start off the blog by saying, "Welcome to our latest Inside Infinite, our monthly blog series that provides a closer look at the development of Halo Infinite. This month we're diving into efforts supporting the upcoming multiplayer technical preview, often referred to as flighting, to share insights into our goals, process, and what insiders should expect. We'll also take a closer look at the content and experiences included in this inaugural tech preview, which will focus on bots and weapon drills, two brand new additions to Halo." Once again, in this blog, they remind people to register for the Halo Insider program. Becoming a Halo Insider is how you gain access to these Halo Infinite technical previews, and they mention that registering as a Halo Insider does not guarantee access to technical previews or pre-release hands-on gameplay tests. They did go into explain how they will be choosing who gets into this first Halo Infinite technical preview. They said, "Within the pool of players in the Insider program, our first priority will be ensuring we have a broad distribution of platforms, Xbox One, Xbox Series X/S, and different PC configurations. And then we will look at overall tenure in the program, prioritizing our longest-standing insiders until we've allocated every invitation." They also said we'll be hosting hundreds of thousands of Halo Insiders during the first technical preview, and then, if all goes well, we'll invite even more eligible Halo Insiders for the next flight. We want to start at a reasonable number of participants before potentially going to a much larger player pool, but our goal is to eventually get every eligible Halo Insider a chance to go hands-on and help us achieve our goals on the road to launch. So their goal is to eventually get every Halo Insider into these technical previews. So if you are a Halo Insider, it does seem like you have a very good chance, almost a guarantee, to play in at least one of these technical previews. You might not get into the first one, but again, I'm pretty sure you'll be invited to at least one of them. I know everybody's been getting pretty tired of seeing all the reminders to sign up for the Halo Insider program, register as an insider now. I was kind of getting fed up with seeing it as well because, we weren't getting any new info about Halo Infinite or this upcoming technical preview. All we were really hearing was just, hey, sign up for the Insider program. Hey, sign up for Insider, sign up for Insider. And I was just like, okay, that's great and all. We want people in the Insider program, but can I get a date for this upcoming flight or technical preview? Can I get a video or walkthrough of seeing what it's all about? But now we finally have this Inside Infinite blog, which does give us a good amount of information about the flight. Okay, so now I want to read to you a part of this blog that seemed a little off, maybe even kind of concerning. I don't really know how to feel about it. So they have this section called Technical Previews, Flights, and Betas, where they said, what's in a name? Quite a lot as it turns out. Different games across the industry, and even Halo games over the years, have had all sorts of pre-launch hands-on release and tests that carry various official labels. Terms like alpha and beta often convey a certain expectation around polish and stability, breadth, there's that I hate that word, marketing implications, and more. We're further along than would be truly considered an alpha, but also not really at the level of overall completeness some expected in a beta. They went on to say, we also want to be very upfront and transparent about the fact that we will certainly have some bumps and rough edges in this build. And then they mentioned this technical preview is a couple months behind where the development team and main game build currently is, given the process and time it takes to go through all the gates and steps before releasing it to the public. So this technical preview is a couple months behind where the main game build currently is. So when they say we're further along than what would be truly considered an alpha, but also not really at a level of overall completeness some expect in a beta, I wonder if that statement is just pertaining to this first technical preview, or does that also apply to this main game build that is a couple months further along? Because if their main game build is much further along than this first technical preview, then I think they would have made that crystal clear, and maybe they did and I just missed it. But if they didn't mention that, and like I said, I didn't see them say anything about how much further along their current build actually is, and if that latest build of the game is not at a level of overall completeness some would expect in a beta, then that's definitely pretty concerning. I even think it's kind of concerning that they're saying this pertaining to this first technical preview. I mean, the game is supposed to launch in a couple months. We're almost in August, and then we got September, October, November, maybe December. That's it. But maybe I'm just reading into that a little too much. I mean, maybe the bar for what a beta is has been raised. I mean, games sit in beta status forever now, and you almost forget that it is a fucking beta. It feels like the full game is released. So yeah, maybe just that bar of what a beta is has been raised a little, and they don't want to claim that this game is as polished as you would expect with current betas of other games out there. But I don't know. We'll see soon. We'll see maybe this upcoming weekend of how broken or polished this game truly is. So now let's talk a little bit about what they're going to be looking at in this first upcoming technical preview for Halo Infinite. They say discovering issues small or major months ahead of launch is the entire point of flighting. I'm going to read that one more time. Discovering issues small or large months ahead of launch is the entire point of flighting. We want to find these now so that we can address as many of them as we can ahead of launch. Okay, so with that being said, right now we're going to stop. I'm going to share some of my opinions on this whole arena gameplay versus bots for this first technical preview. We are only a couple months out before Halo Infinite's release. Halo 5 had its beta 9 months before the game released. And Halo Infinite's technical previews are taking place only a couple months before release. And I'm not going to make a huge deal out of that because games like Halo 3 and Halo Reach, they had their betas only about 4 months out from the release of the game. But, 343 doesn't have a very good track record with their games, and MCC was a completely broken mess at launch and remained a completely unplayable, broken piece of shit mess for the longest time. So I think it would do them some good to maximize the amount of time they have to fix bugs, glitches, and various other issues with the game. So in my mind, the earlier the Halo Infinite flights take place, the better. But with everything this game's been through, with how long it's been in development, the reception of the gameplay reveal, where many people thought the game was or looked pretty underwhelming, the game was delayed. This game was supposed to come out last year. With all that considered, I feel like 343 should be prioritizing the most important aspects of this game. Halo Infinite having bots, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I know people wanted bots in Halo for a long time. I never really cared a whole lot. I'd rather play against, real people. The main thing that excites me about bots is if I want to test out a certain map or game mode, I don't need to get a bunch of people together to play it. I could just turn on bots and fill the lobby. That's great. Although I wonder if bots will be an option for every game mode or for Forge maps, because I really just have a hard time imagining how bots are going to move throughout a Forge map. I mean, what about a race? What if you make a Forge race map? Will the bot know what to do? I mean, no, I doubt it. Like, I can't imagine they would, unless they're unbelievably intelligent. So I wonder if they'll limit bots to only, like, default maps that the game launched with. I don't know. But anyways, what I'm getting at here is I think they should be prioritizing player versus player matchmaking over arena gameplay versus bots. Because let's be real, most people are spending most of their time in the matchmaking player versus player. I mean, the overwhelming majority of the time spent playing a Halo game is in the fucking matchmaking. I mean, that should be no secret. I know some people like the campaign, some people are forgers, and the people like their custom games. I get that, and I'm not trying to disparage those people, but let's be real here. Let's think about this logically. If the overwhelming majority of the time spent playing a Halo game is player versus player in the matchmaking, shouldn't that be what we're testing first? Shouldn't that be the first thing we test? So we maximize the amount of time we can fix issues pertaining to that. And not only that, but I think it's pretty safe to say overwhelming majority of people would rather play against real people than bots. Listen, I'll take the gameplay versus bots over nothing, you know what I mean? Like, I rather have this than no technical preview at all. But I definitely feel like the first one should have been player versus player matchmaking. Now let me read you what Sketch and Unishex said on Twitter a couple days ago. Well, maybe a couple days ago or just yesterday, depending on when this video comes out. So Unishex said, by opting for a bot-focused tech preview first, we can test our servers twice as much. Each match only needing 4 players instead of 8 gives us 2 times the matches and essentially doubles our data. Alright, I'm not a game dev, I don't know what kind of systems they got in place. I'll take his word for it. Sketch says, bots also tax the dedicated servers in much different ways than other forms of matchmaking. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, and of course nobody is forced to participate. This won't be the only insider flight either. So it sounds like from what they're saying, playing against bots is a more efficient way of testing their servers. And again, I'm not going to call bullshit on that. That doesn't exactly make sense to me, but it wouldn't because I'm no game dev. So I'm not going to call bullshit on that. I'll take their word for it. But still, most people are going to be spending time playing matchmaking against real people. So I feel like that should be prioritized. And guess what? You can test your servers by doing that as well. Player versus player matchmaking. You can test your servers doing that. Maybe it's not as efficient as testing your servers playing against bots, but that way you could still test your servers while simultaneously testing the most popular aspect of the game. And I'm sure people might try to argue that everything that could be tested in a player versus player matchmaking environment can also be tested in player versus bots matchmaking, while also testing their servers more efficiently. Like Unishek says, each match only needing 4 players instead of 8 gives us 2 times the matches and essentially doubles our data by playing against bots. But listen, from what I've watched over the years pertaining to Halo, I've learned that the smallest of changes can completely fuck up the game. I mean, y'all remember that last flight for Halo 2 coming to MCC on PC? That flight wasn't perfect. It wasn't a complete one-to-one replication of the original Halo 2, but it was in a much better state than when Halo 2 actually launched on PC for MCC. For those of you who don't remember, Halo 2, when it launched on PC, the game was completely broken. You could shoot at the ground, look at the ground and shoot and get kills. The game was a mess. It even fucked up Halo 3. You had vehicles essentially driving themselves with no one in them. It was a mess. And that was flighted. Halo 2 was flighted before it came to PC. And so I don't know if they changed things after that flight or if just making the game public fucked something up. I don't know what the deal is. But I do know that the last flight of Halo 2 before its release in MCC PC was way more polished than when it actually released. And even with the release of MCC, 343 said that a lot of those issues they did not see in their internal testing. They didn't see those issues until the game got out into a retail environment. And so what I'm getting at here is that this is game development. And I understand game development is very complex. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that can go wrong. And so it is not safe to assume that the issues found in a player versus bot environment would also translate to a player versus player environment. Player versus bots and player versus player, these are two different things. They should be treated as two different things. And I think player versus player is a little more important, and that's where most of the time is going to be spent in Halo Infinite. I think it's safe to say that's how it's been with every Halo game with matchmaking, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same way with Halo Infinite. The overwhelming majority of a player's time in Halo Infinite is going to be spent in the matchmaking, going up against other real players. And so this all just goes back to what I said, where I think they should prioritize player versus player for their first flight to maximize the time they have to fix issues. And also, I think most people would rather play against real people than bots. Some of the main areas that they are going to be focusing on in this first Halo Infinite technical preview is stability. How stable is the game across various hardware specs and platforms? Is the game freezing or crashing at a certain time or on specific hardware? Getting a large-scale sampling of real-world hardware profiles is something we can only really accomplish via a large flight of this nature, and as we launch on PC for the first time, this is a critical focus for the team. They're also going to be looking at online services. Can all of our interconnected online services function well at an immersed scale? This is our largest bucket since it includes so many intertwined services that need to function in perfect harmony: matchmaking, server scaling, playlist serving the proper content, challenges, stats, post-game carnage report, battle pass progression and store functionality, armor customization, partying up with friends, etc. They're also going to be testing the Halo Insider / Waypoint vNext app. Can our Halo Insider communication systems and flighting tools function at scale? How do the Waypoint vNext app, iOS and Android and web experience feel and function as extensions of the game? In regards to player feedback, 343 said this: gathering input from our players during a technical preview is critical to our success at launch and beyond. The sooner we receive feedback, the sooner we can plan and action on that feedback. Exactly, and that's why I'm saying they should prioritize the most popular aspect of the game, player versus player matchmaking. Is that a hot take? Is it? Like, I don't think it is, but I don't know, some people will bend over backwards to defend every decision 343 makes. They went on to say, on that note, we want to clarify that with this technical preview, we are entering the next step in what's been a multi-year process and journey where the team has been regularly getting critical feedback via user research and private flights. Naturally, the scale of the technical preview is greater than anything we've done to date, and that brings unique value and opportunities to capture even more perspectives. But just know that community feedback has been at the core of development since the very beginning, and it will continue to remain a critical pillar going forward beyond launch. Okay, so what I'm about to say isn't really anything concrete. This is more of just a thought. When they say things like this right here, and it will continue to remain a critical pillar going forward beyond launch, when they've talked about how they're happy with the selection that they have for Halo Infinite at launch. They also said later on in this blog, we plan on supporting Halo Infinite for years to come, and this feedback will all be captured to help inform future priorities. When they talk about how this game is going to be supported for several years after launch, launch is only the beginning. This game's going to evolve and be updated over time. That's great and all. I just hope, and we don't know, but I hope that's not just setting us up for the game to release in an incomplete or broken state, and that they're going to fix it and add things that should have been there at launch over time. I hope that's not how they mean these things. I hope it's not just preparing us for that. I hope Halo Infinite is going to be a great game that launches with everything you would expect to be in a Halo game at launch, plus some new things, and then they will build upon that game over time. So I don't know, like I said, nothing concrete there, just a thought, and I know some other people have kind of been, skeptical when they say things like this as well. 343 said their feedback focus areas are core gameplay. We want to know how you feel about the core combat experience. How do you feel about player movement, weapon balance, equipment, etc.? How fun is it to engage in battle in Halo Infinite? Maps and modes. How do you feel about the design and flow of the maps? Are the maps and modes both fun and fair? Academy's weapon drills. Did weapon drills give you a good understanding of how a weapon functions? How fun were the various weapon drills? Listen, all the Academy stuff, I really am just so not interested in that, like at all. It's cool, I guess. I like that there's going to be like a range, or you can shoot bots and stuff like that, but I'm really not too interested in the Academy, at all. Menu and Battle Pass UI. How intuitive was the menu navigation? Were you able to understand your progression through the Battle Pass? Were you able to find and equip customization items easily? So they talk about Battle Pass progression, but what about a separate progression system? What about a ranking system? I wonder when those things will be tested. 343 mentioned in this blog, as a part of this commitment to transparency, which transparency is a great thing. I'm all for transparency. Even if things aren't going so well for them, I always respect transparency. As a part of this commitment to transparency, the team will meet to go over hot topics and common pieces of player feedback that emerge during the flights, which we call themes. After reviewing these themes, the team will spend time investigating, figuring out if they agree and want to act on it, and when in the schedule we can take action on them. Again, there will be things we can't act on before launch this holiday, and that's okay. That's okay. We plan on supporting Halo Infinite for years to come, and this feedback will all be captured to help inform future priorities. Again, I hope that doesn't mean the game's gonna be broken at launch, but don't worry. It's okay if it's broken at launch. It's okay if it's missing big features that you would expect in a Halo game at launch. Halo Infinite's gonna be supported for years to come. We'll get this in. We'll fix these issues down the line. Don't worry how the game is at launch. So I don't know how they mean, what the intentions are there when they talk about Halo Infinite being supported for years. them supporting Halo Infinite for years to come, that could be a positive thing, but it could also be a negative thing in the sense that it gives them an excuse to release the game unfinished or broken, and then they can spend these years after launch fixing these things up and adding things to the game that should have been there at launch. I don't know. But like they said, there will be things we can't act on before launch this holiday. I know, I understand that, which is why I feel like we should be prioritizing the most popular aspects of the game. Like, why are we not doing that? Bots? That is new. This is new, and bots are cool, but I think the game would do just as good without them. Would the game do just as good without player versus player matchmaking? Fuck no. Fuck no. But it would do just fine without bots, just like the previous Halo games did amazing without bots. No other Halo game has had bots. So again, like, the game would, like, it would sink or swim regardless of whether bots were in the game. But when it comes to player versus player matchmaking, that is a much bigger deal. And no, that is not the same as player versus bot. And to assume that is the same thing, to assume you can test the same things with player versus player as you can with player versus bot, that's pretty dangerous, especially considering 343's history. Like, you can't take any chances here. You can't test player versus bot and assume that the issues found in that environment would translate over to player versus player and that everything's the same. No, that is it's not safe to assume that. But yeah, that's why they're also going to test player versus player in a later technical preview. Yes, but that's why they should test it first, because it's the most popular aspect of the game by far. Maximize your time. Then they went on to list everything that will be featured in the upcoming technical preview, which we pretty much touched on a lot of these things. They said, now with the foundation of flighting set, let's talk about the content and goals of our upcoming technical preview, which will focus on bots and a slice of the new Academy experience, which, I don't fucking care about that Academy. I mean, again, the Academy, it's cool that it's there. I'm glad that it's there. But to me, that doesn't really interest me. This technical preview is intentionally focused on these specific areas to help us gather some scale data as we bring these new experiences to Halo for the first time. As we look further ahead, we plan for future flights to expand into more content, including traditional PvP arena and big team battle. With this and our higher level feedback goals noted above, we land on the following specific focal points with this in mind. The focus areas for our technical preview are arena gameplay versus bots, arena maps, academies, weapon drills, menu and battle pass UI, new waypoint experiences on web, iOS, and Android. To gather specific feedback on these areas, our first flight will contain the following content and experiences. So pertaining to the bot arena, for this first technical preview, the bot arena experience will feature Slayer across 3 maps in this build, bot Slayer on Bazaar, Recharge, and Live Fire. I think that's cool that we're getting 3 maps. I do like that. They could have just done 1 or 2, but I'm happy with 3 for a technical preview. Then we're talking about Academy weapon drills with various different weapons. Okay, I guess that's cool. I mean, I guess why I'm not really that excited about the Academy is because it sounds like it's aimed at new players. I mean, is there much of a reason for a veteran player to go into the Academy? Like, people that have been playing Halo for years and are amazing at the game. Like, is there much of a reason to hop into the Academy? Maybe when the game first comes out and you want to test out a weapon real quick and that's it. But, like, any other reasons? Is that, like, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think the shooting range is kind of cool because you can go in there and shoot some bots and, see how fast you can take out the bots and try to increase your time. I mean, but other than that, I really am not that interested by this at all. Pertaining to the Battle Pass, challenges, menus, customization, they said this: on top of the gameplay-focused experiences above, we also want to make sure that the game's menu navigation feels intuitive. We're especially interested in seeing how players move through the UI to unlock their Battle Passes, check their challenges, use the store, and apply their earned customization elements in the Armor Hall. In order to allow Halo Insiders to unlock their battle passes and unlock various customization options, we'll be granting invited accounts a set amount of in-game credits, CR, which is very reminiscent to the credit you had in Halo Reach. Players will be free to use their CR how they see fit, but customization items unlocked during technical previews will not carry over when the game releases later this year, and that's kind of what I expected. I gotta be honest, overall Halo Reach's customization was, in my opinion, the best in the series, but I wasn't a huge fan of the credit system, just buying armor. I remember back in the day when Halo Reach came out, I always thought that was kind of lame compared to doing, unique in-game challenges to unlock armor from Halo 3. So when I see that, you can use in-game credits to buy armor, I'm not like, yay, that's so cool. It's more of just meh to me. But I do believe they've already mentioned that there will be in-game challenges to unlock certain customization options for Halo Infinite, so that's cool. They also said they're going to be testing out the new Waypoint app and website. Not too much to elaborate on there. Now, in regards to when the technical preview is going to take place, they said this: we know the largest question is, when is the technical preview? The release of this blog means we're getting very close, but flighting itself is a fluid process. We need to ensure we've successfully cleared our final gate before we're officially a go. That said, we've been given the okay to say our first bot-focused technical preview could happen as soon as next weekend. Prior to the flight starting, we're planning a live stream where we'll dive into the actual build and walk through nearly every facet of the technical preview. Stay tuned. Now, if this first technical preview could happen as soon as next weekend, it is currently Saturday as I record this. So if this technical preview could be happening in a couple days, and they say we're planning a live stream where we'll dive into the actual build and walk through nearly every facet of the technical preview, I just find it weird that we can't even get the date for the live stream. Like, when's the live stream happening? Tomorrow? 2 days from now? 3? I just don't get it. Like, why can't you just give us a date for the live stream? It's gonna happen in a couple days, right? Like, if the flight could be taking place next weekend, the live stream, it has to be soon, and it's just weird you can't even give us a date for the live stream for the flight. Like, when it's this close, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Because, like, this blog seems like a pretty good time to give us the date for at least the live stream of the technical preview. Now, a couple more things in regards to bots. Joseph Staten said, in the early Halo games, bots were a feature that we always wanted to land, but that consistently got cut due to limited time and resources. And in this first Halo Infinite technical preview with the bot arena, 343 says, we're going to intentionally start things off slow to help everyone get acclimated, but as the community gets up to speed and slays copious amounts of bots, our goal is to crank things up to provide greater challenge and variety. Bot Arena is a great place to familiarize yourself with Halo Infinite's gameplay and maps in a stress-free environment. The bots still have their quirks, which is why we're flighting them, but they certainly aren't pushovers. Be prepared. What is it like to fight against bots? Bots come in 4 flavors: Recruit, Marine, ODST, and Spartan, with each level representing an increase in bot skill. The first time I played a match against bots, I decided to set the difficulty at ODST, assuming they would be competitive but not too challenging. Within 30 seconds of the start of a Slayer match in the sun-baked New Mombasa street market at the center of the arena map, Bazaar, I found myself in a classic Halo combat dance with a bot who did an alarmingly good job of sidestepping shots from my sidekick pistol and then dropped my shields with a well-thrown frag grenade. Okay, cool. The bots can strafe? Alright, that's great. Very intelligent. As I retreated from the market through the archway, peppering the bot with a few more rounds, I thought, no worries, I'll just crouch behind one of these big wooden doors and wait for my shields to recharge, because I'm pretty sure this bot won't be smart or brave enough to. At which point the bot sprinted through the door, clocked my position, and finished me off with 2 very confident blasts from its bulldog shotgun. So yes, as we mentioned earlier, be prepared. Okay, so guys, the bots can sidestep and walk through doors. Okay, like what? What is this section even about? Like, I don't know what are we what are we talking about here? Oh, it came through the doors. Oh. Some more examples of bot behavior. ODST and Spartan bots will effectively dodge grenades and rockets. Recruits and Marines will not. All the bots use equipment, and higher level bots will grapple shot you to finish you with a melee kill. I've seen them do this with energy swords, which is amazing and terrifying. Bots keep track of power weapon spawns and sprint to claim them, but most importantly, bots are fair. We won't change their health and damage values per difficulty level. They just get smarter and more resourceful the higher you go. Okay, so that's good. I'm glad they're not going to increase their damage or their health. I prefer that all stays the same, and when you increase the difficulty, they just get smarter. And that's exactly what we're going to do in our tech preview flight. Start the bots on Marine difficulty, and then let you work your way up to Spartan. Good luck. We hope you have a blast. And as always, we sincerely appreciate your support. Now, when they said all bots use equipment and higher level bots will grapple shot you to finish you with a melee kill, I don't know if we've seen that yet in any of the Halo Infinite gameplay we've seen for the multiplayer, because we know the grapple shot is going to work differently in multiplayer than it does in campaign. And I know we've seen in the campaign gameplay reveal for Halo Infinite, we saw Master Chief grapple to a brute, but that didn't confirm it was going to work like that for multiplayer. But I mean, I guess this is kind of confirmation that you can grapple to enemy players and melee them. Unless, I don't know if we've seen that in any of the footage. We may have seen it before, but if not, then this is a first. And I don't know how I feel about that, about being able to grapple to other players. I mean, obviously, my first thought is that's going to be really fucking annoying, but we'll just have to wait and see how it all works out. But anyways, guys, pretty long video here. I covered everything I wanted to cover, and, shared my thoughts on this. Again, the big thing for me pertaining to this first technical preview featuring bots and not actual player versus player gameplay is kind of disappointing, and I don't think it's a smart decision. It sounds like this is a better way for them to test their servers, but again, doing player versus player matchmaking will also test your servers while simultaneously testing the most popular aspect of a Halo game. Most popular aspect of the Halo game by far. So definitely feel like they should prioritize player versus player matchmaking, and that should be the first thing they test to maximize the amount of time they have to fix issues that are found in the flight. But they're going with bots, something that is new to Halo. It's cool. Glad it's there. I think the game would do just as good without them, or just as bad without them. But anyways, guys, let me know, are you with me on this? Are you guys just happy as shit that you get to finally play Halo Infinite and you don't care what it is? Like, I get it. Some people are like, hey, man, I'll take this. I'll take this. I'm just happy to play the game. And I get it. I'll take this over nothing. But I definitely feel like they should have done player versus player for the first flight. So although I'm happy we're getting something, that doesn't mean that I don't feel like they're making a mistake by prioritizing bots with this first technical preview. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. This technical preview could be happening as soon as next weekend, a couple days from now. They said they're going to be doing a live stream before them, giving us basically a walkthrough of what this technical preview has to offer. That'll be cool, hopefully. But yeah, once this technical preview happens, even though it is against bots, I think we will have a much better idea as to how this game plays. So with that being said, that's going to do it for this video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.